There's a fine line between asking someone for their opinion and then letting them sort of seep into that general manager role. But what do you think? Is it a good idea to let LeBron have a say in roster moves?
Yes, absolutely. And I know there's been a lot of jokes, discussions over the years of his time in Cleveland, how LeBron was the GM, some of the contracts and the aftermath of how things played out. But in this circumstance, you have not made the playoffs for the last 5 seasons. You sign the best basketball player in the world to a 4-year deal. I would absolutely expect that they want to know what he thinks, what type of players he wants alongside of him. And I think the caveat of all of this, you look at Lance Stephenson, you look at JaVale McGee, Rajon Rondo, you could say different things about the players they are, what they'll bring. It's 1-year deals. 1-year deals. The Lakers are also setting themselves up for the 2019 free agency class.
Yes.
So regardless of what happens, and you can go through each of these guys, but it's 1 year that they are committing to.
A question for you and Nick. Just say, let's remove LeBron from it. Let's just say the Lakers go after, say LeBron stayed in Cleveland. The Lakers go after, they go after any of the other top players, Kawhi, Paul George, any of them. Do you think Magic Johnson sits down with them and asks them, hey, Kawhi, what kind of players you like to play with? What do you think about the players that we have? What do you think about the way we're doing things? What kind of offense you like to run? Do you guys think that Magic would do that for even players like Kawhi?
Yes, I do.
I think this is a thing we talk about all the time. I think in the NBA, your best player should have a say on the coach. If he doesn't like him, unless it's a Hall of Fame established coach, should have a say on teammates. I think.
Now, I don't believe every top player, Nick, should have that type of say. It depends on what is their basketball IQ.
Sure.
How do they go about their business? Like, are they going to be about trying to have their friends, or have they really surveyed? Because every superstar doesn't have the same knowledge of the league that others have. LeBron, I know this personally, being at practices, you've seen him. We talked about him being a savant on the basketball court, but also his overall study, his ability to remember sets that other teams run, what they run in certain situations, him calling out things. I went to a practice when LeBron was young, when Shaq was there, and I was friends with Shaq, and I was asking about LeBron. He's like, man, this guy is unbelievable. The amount of information he knows for a young player, what he remembers. When Detroit tried to do certain things to him in the playoff, he remembered the certain play calls. If they call out a color scheme, he can correlate that to a number. So, yes, you have to realize the asset is not only the basketball player, but it's also the basketball mind. And Magic and Rob Pelinka, I believe, are doing the right thing by tapping into that.
So I might surprise some people with this. This makes me a little nervous. I think LeBron James should have veto power. I do not think they need to say to LeBron James, give me a list. I think if they have come, it is Rob Pelinka and Magic's and the scouting department's job and the analytics department's job to figure out which players are available at the right price that they think will fit the style they're going to play. I have no problem with them, once they've compiled the list, going to LeBron and saying, anyone on here that you want crossed off, that I think works. But what I've seen, listen, LeBron is an A+ in a lot of things across basketball. Evaluating how good other players still are is not something that I think is his strongest suit.
And it's always a problem for current players.
Yes.
Because what our memory is of other players, I remember this, and when I retired from football, man, people had me playing fantasy football. Man, you were a great fantasy football player, Chris. Man, I was in a couple different leagues. The first few years, I was the worst. Man, pick this guy. Man, you got to pick Anquan Bolden. Man, he's got durability.
Right.
Like, because guys who I knew and guys who I like.
Right.
So that's what you end up attracting.
So interesting.
Yeah, but that's real because he's human. And you could see that with LeBron and some of his relationships, the guys who got contracts and everything. So I like that theory.
But to me, then you look at a guy like Lance Stephenson, and that's where I think a lot of eyebrows were raised, because this was someone who no one probably ever would have pegged would be a guy that LeBron would want on his team. But that goes back. I covered the Cavs Pacers series this past year, and it was interesting because LeBron was asked about Lance a lot, how he was an agitator, what he did. LeBron still spoke with such a high amount of respect for him, the type of confidence, the type of competitor he was, the fierceness that he brings. I think it's a fair deal that they did with Lance. Again, it goes back to a 1-year deal, but I think LeBron I would assume Magic and Rob spoke with them about different guys. I'm not sure LeBron just said, I want
I don't think he did.
And,
right.
And
I wasn't trying to act like that's what happened.
Right.
I just wanted that's not
I think
what
they had targeted a group of players and went over that group of players with LeBron. You know, on this sheet, these are players where we have interest in. What do you think?
Is there any concern that if LeBron starts being consulted on general manager decisions or picking players, then that bleeds into a little bit, well, he's got more power than, say, Luke Walton, or if he doesn't like the way the direction of the team is going.
He has more power than Luke Walton.
Okay, but does that bleed into the direction of the team or how successful the team can be, or a balance of power between the general manager and Magic and Rob and Luke
Well, this
and
is
LeBron?
the thing in the NBA. The power is with the players. All right? The players got the guaranteed money. Unless you are Pop, unless you're Brad Stevens, he's not even on that corner where he would like to throw his career around. This is the way the NBA has been run for years. It's about the players and about what the players want. Magic Johnson has been associated with a couple coaches. All of a sudden, now they're not his coach anymore. So this wouldn't be new. We tend to forget, and we bang on LeBron for him being involved in decision-making. This has been part of the NBA for the last 40 years.
I also think the jury's still out. Is Magic, we know the player Magic Johnson was, is he a good team president? Rob Pelinka, this is his first time as a general manager. What can he do? I believe that this is all about Magic understanding the asset that he needed to get in LeBron James and massaging the situation. And I think that Magic Johnson is savvy enough to understand as the season goes on, as the tenure with LeBron goes on, he's going to continue to make decisions. LeBron has power. He'll listen to LeBron. I don't think he's just a free-for-all LeBron. You tell me what to do.
Yeah, but you also have to give the Lakers and the organization, Jenny Buss, making the tough calls as far as her brother being involved in day-to-day operations. When they decided to go to Pelinka and Magic, since then, they've made some good decisions.
Yeah.
All right? They are good as far as salary cap. They got some good young players that other teams want. And also, not only do they have LeBron James, they have a guy that said, I want to be a Laker. But then everybody said, whoa, wait. You only want to go to the Lakers? Well, I'll go to the Clippers because Kawhi is that kind of guy. Right. But he did want to go to the Lakers, and it had to do with not only going home, but they did have Magic there and some good young players.
My only caution would be on any of this is I saw this happen 4 years ago. I really think LeBron was just watching an NCAA tournament game and saw Shabazz Napier go off and fires off a tweet. My favorite point guard in the draft. And the Miami Heat, in an effort to keep LeBron James in Miami, overdrafted Shabazz Napier. Shabazz Napier was drafted because of that tweet, I truly believe, and LeBron left. And that, by the way, it's not like Shabazz, well, they picked a great player for what they needed. No, they didn't. The point you're making, though, about the one-year deals is the most important one. And for this is not a perfect roster for LeBron. It's long, somewhat athletic, some playmaking, but not enough shooting. But you are not going to find the exact perfect roster when you are only signing one-year deals and when you are trying to maintain maximum flexibility. I do think they're going to get Kawhi. And you said the jury's still out on Magic. If the only thing Magic ever does is get LeBron James, that's still a more than passing grade. If they end up with Magic and Kawhi, with LeBron and Kawhi, then, I mean, he can just chill for the next few years and let Pelinka and the scouting department do the rest. That will be an A-plus job. Right now, it's not a perfect roster, but with the types of deals they were giving out, it wasn't going to be.
You're going to know when the Lakers and Magic have arrived, when they have the feeling like Golden State and like Magic has had, like LeBron has had other places. When guys decide to turn down substantial money and say, so I'm going to come there because I believe we can win. And I believe they're not too far off from having that. LeBron said he wanted to be in L.A. because he signed there. Kawhi has said he wants to be in L.A., and a lot of that has to do with Magic being there. So I believe they will continue to add pieces. I like where the organization is right now.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.